Dajjal will then tell those people that I'm your Lord, believe me. And people, you know what? People will be so dumbed down that they're going to believe in him as an actual God. They'll take him as a God. Dajjal then, one of his powers is that he's able to cut a man in half and the two pieces fall down to two sides. Because he will say to the man, he will say that, do you believe me, I'm your Lord? And he says that, believe in Lord? He said, what's the proof? He says, well, how about if I was to cut you in half and then join you back again? And he'll have a whole crowd of people. So he said, go ahead then. So he points at him and he cuts him in half. Two halves fall aside. And Dajjal then walks between the two halves, comes back again, then points back at it, and the two halves join again, and the man starts laughing. Wow. Do you know that they've got right now technology with a laser that can actually cut a limb without having any blood pouring out? Do you know that this is going 20 years back, they've already made a laser that can cut off sound in a room. This is already available. So if you're in a nightclub with a lot of sound, high sound, and you want to have a table here that you and your friends speak in silence, with just you two there, you can have that laser that beams around you, and what it does, it cuts off all the sound. The nightclub sound of, you're talking about the music that is at high decibel, it cuts it all out, and you can have a nice conversation sitting. Now, I don't know again if he's going to have all that at his hands, but you can see where this is going. He comes to a Bedouin, and he says, "You're going to believe me? I'm your Lord." And he says, "Why should I believe you? You're my Lord. Tell me how, why?" He says, "How about?" He says this in front of a crowd. He says, "How about if I was to bring your parents back alive?" He says, "Really? Seriously?" He says, "Okay." He says, "Bring them alive. Who would not want their parents to be alive?" So he goes to their grave. Dajjal goes to his grave. And then seemingly he brings his parents back up from their grave. And they say to their child, "O child, believe him, he is God." Now Rasulullah ﷺ explained this. He said, فَشَيْطَانَانِ يَتَمَثَّلَانِ. There will be two devils that will take the appearance of his parents. So his real parents are dead. But two devils have taken the appearance of two humans, exactly like his parents, and the devils speak out, and the person believes it's his parents, and therefore he believes. There's going to be a lot of trickery he will use. In fact, his name, Dajjal, means the one who is a master at lying and a master at trickery. He will fool people. He will walk. When he walks, he will have two rivers with him. Now we have got nothing to understand this right now, but very soon, I'm sure in a few decades time, whenever the time's going to come, we're going to see, we can understand how this is going to happen. He's going to have with him fire, and he's going to have with him water. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said his fire is water and his water is fire. So he will tell people, look, jump into the water. Don't jump into the fire. And our Prophet ﷺ tells us, if you ever see Dajjal with his fire and water, he said, go and jump into the fire, because his fire is going to be cool water. Bro, you ready to jump in fire? Put your hands up if you're ready to jump in fire. Come on, put your hands up. Yo, am I the only one? You're like, Sheikh, you serious? Fire? Sheikh, wallahi, are you saying the truth? Yes. And how many of us, now this is a serious question, am I going to be ready to jump into real fire that's blazing, that's hot? Am I seriously going to jump in there with Iman and say, my Prophet ﷺ told me that this is going to be water? Am I going to be doing that? This is a serious question. Because people are not prepared for Dajjal unless you have Iman. Unless you have Iman. And Dajjal will mesmerize people. So he comes, his first day, which is 1 year, he goes around pretty much the whole of the world. He can't enter Makkah, Medina. Some riwayats say there's a Masjid al-Tur, and there's also Masjid al-Aqsa, some include that. But many ahadith include Makkah and Medina, because there are angels there guarding those cities, and he can't enter that. But he will come to the outskirts of Medina, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even pointed out that in the outskirts of Medina there's going to be a white palace, or he said a white building. He said a white building. Okay? Do you know right now that the current Saudi government is building a palace on the exact spot that Dajjal is going to come to? And he's going to stand there and he's going to look at Medina and say, you know, the white city. If you look from that spot towards Medina Munawwara, okay, with all the lights at night time, it actually looks like a white city. So he comes there, stops there, he's not able to enter. He's not able to enter Makkah, Medina, but he's going to go pretty much around the world. And what he does is, he says, you believe me as a God. If you don't believe in him, fine. He's going to cut off your supplies of food, grain, whatever it is. He's going to completely destroy all your crops that you basically can't grow anything. He's going to have that technology. Do you know right now that there's a movement to try and only give you a seed to grow things once? All right? And if that is fully fledged system, and if that comes in his hands, then he's got the way to say that you can't